useful.
Hi,
Hey
everyone.
everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, good evening.
We are back. So welcome, everyone, to the live stream. And for anyone catching the replay, welcome. We are going to be down two characters tonight. So Alexander and Lady R have personal business going on. So I'll be playing their characters tonight. There's the screen. Cool. So, how's everyone been this last week?
Real good.
Great.
Good. Hanging in there, at least.
And so many of the people watching may not have caught it because I didn't catch it till after, but everyone was able to level up to level 3. So we're all a little bit more powerful.
That's awesome.
There's some cool stuff that comes in for a lot of us.
And let's see, I've got everybody there. Is there anything? So just to recap also, so you've taken over this bar or tavern along Troll Skull Alley. You've gone on a few little adventures. A couple of you have joined the Emerald Enclave, and I think a couple of you have also joined the Force Grey, which is a private security force. And Ed's met an interesting new friend who gave him a hat.
Yeah. Wait, this is more of an interesting hat. There.
That's it.
Cool.
Nice.
It's a Yankee hat,
Yeah.
since I live in the South.
So everyone has seen my Dungeon Master screen.
I wish I would have been paying attention.
Yeah, it's still the Dungeon Master screen. Let me go figure out what's going on with this thing. I think I just have to log back in. They made a lot of upgrades to Roll20, which is the virtual tabletop we're using. So something may have happened along the way where if you leave and come back too many times, it gets stuck.
Cool.
Let's see if this works. I think this one worked. There really wasn't much to see. At least it started on the Troll Skull Alley screen and not something for later. And here we are. So I did kind of place everybody outside the manor, but we're going to start inside. Is there anything anyone wants to do when they get up in the morning?
So are we picking up from where we left off, where we seen the ghost or the specter?
Yeah, and actually, let's say that we have one more free day since Shannara is recovering from her exhaustion. So if there's anything anyone wants to do during that day of free time, we can go through that.
Let's see.
I don't know that there's really anything compelling, unless there's, just like, if we want to run out to the local market and get just some basic provisions now that we've got kind of like a home base of operations. Get some jugs of water, or maybe it's got running water, or but just like just basic provisions that we can keep on hand. Might spend a day just kind of. I imagine that Vert is going to be spending his time tidying up, mending things, and making sure that everything is spick and span. So, yeah, I think if we've got a day, we'll just uh, help support that and get some provisions, basic provisions, and whatever.
Okay. I think we had like a one gold piece a person type purchase last time, didn't we?
Yeah, for food.
Yeah,
And I think if you have other provisions, you need maybe another gold piece each. Like there's that carpentry shop just down the road that, let's say, Bert has found and brought in some extra material if he needs material to assist with his mending, so that it does look up to date instead of run down. Like if there's any broken furniture legs and things like that in the tavern area.
fabulous.
So that's definitely something there.
One thing we could do is we could go door to door and find out what services are being held in each one of these buildings and just kind of label it on the map.
Okay. So let's see. I did label the key ones. I think all the other ones, some of them could be residences or things like that. But the Coralon's Crown right here.
Yep.
I think that's the one that's got the healing potions, if I remember right.
Apothecary.
Yeah, let me double check. So Coralon's Crown, that was the apothecary. Fala Lafalier is the proprietor there. And
Is the steam and still, is that an armor smith or a blacksmith?
It is mostly an armor smith, I believe. So let me double check. There are
maybe the bent nail might be the blacksmith.
And the bent nail is so it's a small wooden sign. It has a picture of a bent nail, but this is a carpenter.
Carpenter.
So
Yeah.
If you go in, the front room has a combination of furniture, as well as there's bows and crossbows hanging on the walls. And behind the counter, there's various finely carved like canes and walking sticks and quarterstaffs. So he does a lot of woodworking. The proprietor, let me get his name. It goes by the name of Tally. I'm on the wrong screen again.
Is there any leathersmiths or leather armors? Or would that also be at the silversmith down there, the armor guy?
Yeah, you don't find anything in this neighborhood that would just generally have a variety of like leather armor and things like that. But you could definitely find one outside the neighborhood and make a purchase if you got the money to do that. The steam and steel, when you go there, it's metalworking. So an armor, metal weapons, armor, and tools. So it's actually a couple, a very interesting couple, because they're both Genasi. Genasi are elemental, have an elemental background, although they are humanoid. One is a fire Genasi and the other is a water Genasi. So different looking couple. One's got, bright red hair, and, the other one's got more of a greenish hair, kind of has the aquatic look. But this couple are running the forge and making sure that anybody who wants something metal can get what they need. Embrick is the fire Genasi. Let me write his name in. And then Avi is the water Genasi. So in one of my other campaigns, I actually have a character that's a water genasi, and I do all the Aquaman type stuff.
That's cool.
So for anyone looking for a type of character, that's an interesting one because you can move underwater as fast as anyone moves out of water.
Oh.
Crazy.
But so for those, and you'll amongst talking to yourselves, you'll know that someone will, oh yeah, genasi. The fire genasi can create flame at will. The water genasi can create water at will, like a 5-foot cube. So if you ever need anything like that, they can definitely help if you ask. And they're very, very, very friendly. Sometimes they speak among themselves in primordial. But when you enter, they'll switch back to common. So they don't offend anyone. But they sell various metal weapons, armor, and shields. And if there is anything metallic that you want, because you're a neighbor, they'll give you a discount.
Ooh, you could go to them and have them make us our sign someday.
That's a good idea.
Between them and the bent nail, and they've got they were next door to each other virtually. So maybe we could get the bent nail to put up the wood part, and then have them put in metal letterings, whatever we want.
I like it.
So I
Well,
meant to ask last session, when I shoot an arrow, should I be taking them out of my inventory? I have been. I
Yeah,
just want to make sure if that's what I need to do.
and I'm just for playability, we can ignore that if you want.
It's up to you.
With the thought that most of the time you can recover the arrows,
Okay.
or find some along the way. If you need to buy more, I think it's just something that you don't have to really worry about too much. I've been thinking about running a separate campaign where things are more realistic, and I know people have done it where instead of a long rest being 8 hours overnight, a long rest is a week, and you've got to take the week to recover, which makes a lot of sense. But then it also adds a lot of time to the campaign.
Yeah.
But there are other things that we can try in another campaign to make it a little more realistic. Like for spell casting, I'm not requiring the components, but in others we could. In which case, if you need a diamond worth 300 gold pieces,
Yeah.
you got to have that to resurrect someone or bring someone back to life.
I know the DM
And-
layer. I don't know if you've ever watched him or not, but he's really cool. But he did a Curse of Strahd campaign,
Oh wow!
and he did like when you leveled up or completed a section that leveled you up, you took 10 days and you had to do a downtime activity during that
Yeah.
10 days. So that was a pretty neat. Like it's kind of like each person got their own little role play story during level.
That's cool.
Yeah, where you actually have to train to get your new skills when you level up. Yep.
Well, you could do like extra skills, like you could learn a different language. You have to do like 6 downtimes to get a different language learned, and you could brew beer, you can go carousing with nobility. I mean, it's just different things you wanted to come up with.
Interesting.
And with the tools that you have, some of you have tools and skills, and you could always make certain items. I know certain magic users can actually make magic items. So if that comes up later in the game, we can
Yeah.
as well.
That's neat.
We could do we're down for a day. We've got a day to do stuff. Maybe we could earn some favor with some of our neighbors and ask them if there's any chores they'd like done or something.
Sure.
Love it.
Even if it's just delivering something, at least maybe we gain faction with them. Make them a little happier with us for the
Yeah.
future.
You want
Love
to
it.
start with the bar, maybe? Was it Frennan's Bar Brews?
Oh yes.
Now that they're open,
Oh yeah, because they were closed, right?
Yeah. So they were closed when you went. I mean, if you go later in the day, they'll be open. Like midday, they'll be open for the lunch crowd.
Should we go with our neighbors to the south of us real fast? Because they're the closest.
That
And
sounds
just
good.
ask the apothecary if there's anything they need.
Sure.
I don't know. Or the wood guy may ask us to go collect wood for him. I don't know. Or maybe even the steel people might need stuff to burn. I don't know.
True.
Just suggestions.
So
I
And
guess
then we'll hit the bar when it opens.
There you go. As I say, if it's morning, we could start down, like you said, head to the south.
So actually, if you had cleared some of the brush, when you were out in the field, I mean, you could have brought some of that back with you as well, right? So making the fire break, or you could actually go out there and just collect it if it's still available, and they'll definitely let you collect, whatever is available since you helped them. But yeah, for example, steam and steel, they said, hey, I could always use more wood to burn in the forge, and at the bent nail, they'll kind of look at it. And maybe they'll pull out one or two pieces, like, maybe there's a limb off of a small, off a tree that had fallen that might look useful and ornate enough to be part of a stick, walking stick or staff. But they thank you. And if you go to Coralon's crown.
I thought that was Crow.
So Fala does talk to you a little more, Sparrow. Now that you're clearly one of the wood folk, people who live out in the woods, and she's would be interested in maybe some different herbs, different flower plants to make some of her potions, and give you a list of things to get if you can get those during the day. And you do know that you do find out there is no secret reading or anything. She's not even a member of the Emerald Enclave. But she knows of them. Every one of her, like the Druids and the Rangers are familiar with who the Emerald Enclave is. She says, yeah, I don't really have time for the membership and everything else going on there. But I do know that they do very good work, and I do support them when I can. I'm just not a member.
Gotcha. No problem. And we should be able to take care of this list.
Yeah, I think you can with your skills as a ranger. I think there are enough elves in the group that you can easily collect what's needed when you go out foraging and out to the east, where you had set up the fire break, and then there's different small woods there that you can definitely go around in, and everyone sees you as non-threatening. They know what you did for them today, a couple days before, so probably spend most of the day doing that, and as a reward, she'll give you the potion of healing.
Wow.
Awesome.
Nice.
So
we're out.
It'll be one.
Can I ask?
To share amongst everyone, but still, one potion's better than nothing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's great. While we're out, can I summons my familiar?
Oh.
At 3rd level, I took the spell Summons Familiar.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And
cool.
Now, I don't know how it works, if I get to pick my critter or if it just dumb luck what shows up.
So I think if it's a certain type of familiar, like an animal, you can definitely just kind of pick the small animal. I know some people have been able to bring in different types of like imps or
pixies.
Pixies. Yeah.
I was hoping for a crow. Is what I was hoping to try to summons a crow.
Yeah, I think
I wasn't going for anything fancy.
Especially if you're out there in the fields and basically you're working on it, and one of the crows in the fields will come to you and be your familiar.
Awesome possum.
And so Sparrow, I think you were Beastmaster Ranger.
Yeah, I chose Beastmaster for the Ranger. So I get a flying snake is the one I picked.
Ooh, neat.
That's wicked.
And
it's a
since I'm
little-
wearing Depths Unknown t-shirt, I decided to name him Jason.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
So if people see your flying snake, they kind of look at you a little funny.
Right?
Because
Well, I
of,
was kind of hoping, like in a town setting.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking maybe he would,
Yeah.
like in my hood or drape around to where people maybe not see him as much in my hair with the clothing, cloak, and stuff up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
and so as you go to each of these establishments during the day and they see Jason around your neck, that they're like, "Oh, you're one of them." In which
One
case,
of them.
One of them.
so you'll remember the Zentarum with the flying snake symbol tattooed on them. So that's their first thought. But if you want to allay their fears, letting them know you're in the Emerald Enclave, and this is just your way of trying to. You just happen to like it, and didn't know.
Right. I need to get like a little medallion copy of the one I'm wearing, the restoration from the Emerald Enclave. I need to get like a little mini one and hang around his neck.
Nice.
I guess for the backstory, I think the reason you can find it so quickly is they're distrusted because of that association with the Zentarum,
Gotcha.
and being friendly to it was a very easy way to befriend it and have it be your animal companion. So,
Yeah, I like that.
but at least now everyone in the area knows, okay, Jason's okay. And Sparrow's okay. She's not one of those folks. And then let's see. So that would take up most of the day. So in the evening, is there anything else you want to do before you head to the bar?
No.
I can't think of anything else, you Ed?
I don't think so. I'm just looking at all my new stuff and seeing if there's anything that I would really need to do with it. I don't know that there is.
Well, during the day, did we ever notice any more Dro watching me or trying to pay attention? So I'm trying to keep alert for them because maybe we'll confront them.
Yeah. You want to make a perception check now. I mean, as you walk through, let's just make a perception check as if you're looking to see if they're there and notice. But we'll start with the one for the morning.
And do I roll with advantage or not?
Yeah, you can roll with advantage.
Okay. Oh, 16s.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
So you don't notice them. For some reason, that kind of seemed to have faded away. Maybe. You haven't seen your friend JB yet. JB never caught. And as you're walking around to Froon's Brews, if you're looking for him, because apparently he has the house next door, you don't see him.
Well, I hope he's doing all right. But
did we ever know
I don't
where
think
the...
I should.
Go ahead.
I don't think I should actively go after him since we just met him. And I don't want him to think, oh, this guy's really annoying. Hopefully he's not in danger.
What a weirdo. We could go. Don't we have some sewers that we left incomplete that we could go down and finish clearing out?
Yeah. But should we wait till oh gosh, I forgot her name. Lady
Shannara?
Cleric is completely healed.
Shannara?
Arrested. Shannara.
Yeah, so she'll stay behind while you're doing all of your different activities.
Yeah.
I have a cure wounds spell and the restoration talisman. I mean, if you're just worried about healing, if you think we'll need extra firepower, then maybe we should try
Well,
something else.
we're slightly beefier than the first time we went in there too, so
Oh yeah.
that might help us.
Yeah, and I've got some healing capacity as well. Yeah, I have some healing capacity.
I just have the ability to run away. And I'm not even that proficient at that either. Well, shall we go to the bar and then go to the sewer, or go to the sewer and then go to the bar?
I vote food first before sewers.
Yes. Yes.
Things
I mean,
taste better before a sewer.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, go grab some. You ran errands all day long. Go get some food, and then we can either hit the inn for the evening and head out in the morning, or we can go out at night. Doesn't matter. But yeah, we can get some food first.
Okay.
Oh, show.
You're all going to Froon's Brews?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So as you walk in, Emmett notices you and he kind of gives you this look. And if you sit down and order, they'll serve you, but they're kind of standoffish around you right now for some reason. They're happy to take your order and give you some food and drink. But you notice that they're very careful about which ales they're going to give you. So, here, just have the common stuff. You are definitely. You get the impression you're definitely the competition, and what do they want to know about my brews for their tavern?
Oh yeah.
Gotcha. Do we notice anybody else in the bar? Is it pretty dead or?
It's it's got a crowd, especially if you're in the early evening, and in fact, JB will actually kind of be there and kind of come up to you, Nico, at some point, and in greetings, and when he gets a chance to talk to you away from everyone else, if he can.
Okay. Here, let me. I'll go over here to this corner.
So he says, "I've got a favor, and I need it done in a way that no one knows it's me. If you can help me."
Sounds good. Interesting.
So there is. Everyone got a little thing going here. This mission is so easy, a gang of street urchins could pull it off. I want you to deliver an expose to Gaxley Rudderbust. He's the publisher of our local paper called the Waterdeep Wazoo. And I want you to deliver it without him knowing who wrote it and where it came from. You'll find his office at the corner of Immer Street and Stallion Street in the North Ward. Just leave the story on his desk. So you're currently in the North Ward. It's not too far away. It's maybe 3 or 4 blocks away. And so he gives you this kind of stack of paper rolled up in kind of like a scroll and in a small tube.
Okay.
Yep.
It would be my pleasure, my friend.
Okay, thank you very much. And so you figure the best time for you to deliver is probably after you eat. But I'll let you figure out how you want to try to do this.
Oh. I was like, I can't move myself. I was moving myself on the wrong side.
So is there anything else anyone wants to do while at the bar? It's just common everyday talk. You don't really hear anything unusual. Nico had kind of went to the side to talk to somebody you saw him with in the street at some point, but that's about it.
there any
Okay.
music or
Well-
performers going on in the bar?
Not yet. It looks like there might be a place where someone can come and play an instrument, but there's no one there at the moment.
Well, I'm gonna lean into my guys and say, our team, and say, we might have a little errand to run, but we'll talk about it once we're not in such a public area.
Yeah, do we want to head back to Troll Skull
Sounds
Sure.
good.
now that we had some food and a couple of beers or whatever?
Okay.
Go back and get debriefed and then go do that.
Okay. So, I'm gonna tell them and we're all back at our shop,
Hmm.
I guess, and the doors are closed. I've got a favor, or I've been asked to do a favor to deliver this message to the local paper to a guy named Gas Crumbus. Oh, I hope I said that right. But you know me.
I'll post it.
The Dro tongue twists names quite a
Yeah.
bit. But it's not too far away. Now, he doesn't want anyone to know who delivered it. And I don't know if he means me or let them know that he's delivering this manifesto. Instead of because I have no problem just going in and saying, hey, I've been assigned or somebody paid me. But if it's something pretty critical, maybe I better not, and we should just sneak it in.
Should we read it before we deliver it?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
It's sealed. It's like if I hired somebody to move something for me, I don't think I'd want them to read it.
Well,
I guess I should have asked. That would have been the smart thing to do.
that's
I don't know.
okay.
Reading it was a pretty smart idea. I probably agree we probably shouldn't do it, but this is a pretty smart idea. I think let's go
Well,
scope out the situation if we can. Sneak
Can I
it in.
look at the tube to see if it looks like is there a seal of any sort on it?
No seal. He just kind of casually put it in the tube. It's more like the medieval way of, okay, I've got a folder. There's no such thing as a folder, so it's a small scroll tube, but it's just something written on parchment probably and just casually rolled up. Nothing
Well-
that looks fancy.
He didn't say not to read it also. And we want to make sure that they aren't just gonna, this isn't a death threat.
Yeah, we can take a look
Right.
at it. For sure.
So I suppose you guys are right. I'll go with the vote, the 2-1, to read the thing.
Okay.
And let's see what I'll pop it open and read it.
Okay. So this is interesting. You start reading about the different families of Waterdeep and how influential they are and how they've come to power and authority in kind of unusual ways. And then it starts suggesting that these families that have, without naming the actual families, that these families have come into their power are actually secretly devil worshippers. And so it's this expose that this has been happening and people should be careful who they trust and with information. And you never know what happened when, certain nobility, get these special, mansions and they get these additional helpers that come and go. And, there's something going on here that we should be careful about. So it's an expose on devil worship among these noble families in the city.
Love it.
I suggest that we sneak this in.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
they might have interrogation and stuff.
Yeah, nobody wants to answer questions about that.
maybe your crow could carry it.
Oh,
Well, we could have the crow stake the place, look at through the windows. I don't know if there's a 2-story joint. We could see what's going on if we've got to worry about something. But if I sneak in, you guys could let me know right away that I got to get out
yep,
and create a
Yep.
diversion.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we can each take a side. I can use Jason on the back end, me on the left, Melis on the right, and your crow can maybe watch the front.
Yep.
Sure.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
So when we have, like, where mine's a companion, can I see through his eyes, or do I have, like, ability to talk to him or anything like that? I'm not sure.
I would say
When
that
the crow can talk, that's what I picked the crow, because they can talk. Yeah, I mean, it can only have a mental with me, but if the crow says crackers, somebody's coming up. How's that?
I love it.
So listen for crackers.
Dig
I
it.
mean, and I don't know the ranger's abilities though, because maybe she can do that too through mine. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I mean, I can have him like hold a rock in his tail, and if somebody's coming, he can throw it to the left side. So if I see a rock fly, I'll know to let you all know.
Sweet.
A snake too that can fly.
Yeah.
I think unless there's a speak with the animal spell, that it would have to be something you just have an understanding, and have that empathy and ability to communicate, that they understand you and you might understand their moods. But you could definitely train them to do the rock throw or do something else to alert you.
Again, I don't know what the Beastmaster specifics are either. As much as I love Rangers, I've never played a Beastmaster, so
Yeah, I'll have to read on it. I was like frantic before the stream, like, oh yeah, I leveled up and
That is so
trying
much
to go
stuff.
through everything.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about going with a snake, because
Oh.
then if you get a poisonous snake, it could bite people, and I thought I could wear it around my hat.
Yeah, that's part of it. Oh, I like that.
But
Like Medusa.
Yeah, but I thought the crow would be more fun.
Mhm.
Oh well. And I don't know what my crow's name is going to be. Bobo will be my crow.
Bobo.
Bobo. Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of
Well-
neat because I picked a flying snake and you're a drow, and you picked a bird. And my name's Sparrow, so that works out pretty good.
Yeah.
Brother sister connection right there.
I like it.
Okay.
The yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So when you
Well-
come up to the
Oh.
the paper, it's definitely closed for the night. You can tell there's a kind of like a side door where you could probably get in and out without being noticed, and because you've got your friends helping you, you can do this with advantage. But do a stealth check when you're ready to go in.
Okay. Well, can I have my bird fly quick and look through any windows to see if there's any dogs or people inside?
Yeah, he doesn't see anything, so he's and pretty sure that the owner's not there or the editor's not there.
Okay, well. I guess I'm going to do the stealth. Do I also do the opening doors?
Yes, you'll also need to do a thieves' tools check.
Okay. Yep. I've got that there. Okay, so do you want me to do stealth first and then
Yes.
thieves' tools?
Stealth first, just to see if you can get there without being noticed. With advantage.
Okay. And did that work? Okay.
Oh, if you want to roll again?
Okay. Stealth again?
Yes, because when you do advantage, you get 2 rolls, and you take the heist.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Show me.
It only gave 1.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely.
Wow.
In fact, I don't think anyone in your party realized you went in. When is he gonna get here? We're waiting.
And I have. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say the paladin was about to create a distraction down around the corner, marching around in his plate armor and clanking and making a bunch of noise, but you're already done, so geez.
Well, I'm going to first try just use my cantrip mage hand to see if I can open the door by putting my hand through the door and opening it from backwards. Or if I have to pick it.
Yeah, you can. You still need to pick it, but you can use your mage hand to do that. So if anyone does come around, then you'll just be casually waiting nearby.
And is this with advantage also?
No, this is just a regular check. And very deftly, the door just kind of gently opens before you even get there. So with your mage hand. And if you look inside, it's a very small office, very low budget, you can tell. But there is a desk that's better than the others that you are pretty sure is the publisher's desk. If you want to deposit the package.
I will. Baby cat, watch out. She's shutting down my screens. Come on, move. Sorry, she like to start pushing buttons. Okay. Well, I lost. That's all right. I'll pop that in a minute. I'm going to go and I'm going to place it on. Come on. Cat keeps jumping up and then she jumps backwards. Okay. Now she jumped that way. Okay. I'm going to place it on the desk, and can I quickly do a scan to see if there's anything valuable on the desk that might be worth just kind of snagging while I'm there?
It actually seems pretty tidy. I mean, you can. I mean, there's ink and pen, there for the writing. You don't see anything that you would consider valuable other than what a publisher would think is valuable, like an office worker. So yeah, nothing that stands out.
Well, then I'll take the ink and pen, and I'm going to put the ink on one side of the scroll and the pen leaning across it like this. So that way hopefully they'll notice it quicker, with their thing that they grab all the time laying on top of it.
Okay, perfect.
Nice.
Good idea.
And then I guess I'll just sneak on out.
Okay. So as you close and leave, you can make another stealth check with advantage just to make sure you can get out without being noticed.
Oh my god!
Oh.
So yeah, you don't know that anyone's seen you, although your party sees you for sure.
Well, and this is the point where if there's anybody else that we see, the paladin is gonna, start stumbling around drunken-ish, to cause a distraction if needed.
Okay.
But
You want to roll a persuasion check then, just to see if you can convince people to look at you?
absolutely. I would be happy to. That's 20.
Oh wow.
Yes, nice.
Yeah, you see a bunch of people shaking their heads at you, and you get the feeling that when
Well,
Nico
and
is coming out that as you see him anybody else would have noticed you.
And I am a dwarf too, so I can just do a stumbling, bumbling, kind of like talking to myself as I stumble down the alley to cause a distraction.
You're one of the best dwarfs I've ever met.
Thank you. That's
So
sweet.
you think it's mission accomplished?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I say we head back to the bar and see if JD's there, just to let him know.
Yeah, you do not see JB there. He's probably gone home.
Okay. Well, did I notice anybody following us?
You want to make a perception check with advantage if you're looking for the drow.
Sure. Well, no, I was actually just looking to see if anybody noticed us and was following us because I don't want to walk straight to his house.
Okay. I would make a perception check, just regular perception check then.
Okay.
Yeah, from what you can tell, you don't see that anyone has noticed you. You've walked about 3 or 4 blocks. I'm assuming you've taken a kind of a meandering route to get to wherever you're going as well. So you're pretty sure there's nobody that is associated with being in the area of the Waterdeep Wazoo.
Awesome. Well,
So,
I don't feel like knocking on his door. I say we could just call it a night and see how this turns out tomorrow. It's up to you guys.
Should make for very interesting reading tomorrow.
Yeah. Or the day after. Who knows how long it takes.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
okay. All right, so you're back in the manor. If everyone goes through their morning routine, just as you are about to, I guess, leave or after you eat breakfast, if you're eating breakfast in the area, something's going to happen down the street. Actually, down just outside the alleyway, or inside the alleyway. And so,
Is that like towards the bent nail?
so actually, I'll put it up in a second. So, going back to the map, it's down around this area here,
Okay.
but all the windows rattle. You hear an explosion down the alleyway, and when you all look out, you see some charred bodies, screams. There's smoke billowing in the air. It has just happened.
The paladin is going to rush out and see what's going on, see if he can identify any victims, if he sees anybody leaving the scene, any of that stuff, law and order type of Johnny on the spot
Okay.
kind of approach.
And when you get there, it looks like I think about 11 people, or there are 11 bodies laying around. Some of them are halflings. Some of them you don't recognize any of them. Let me get to the. So yeah, there's 11 people. One is an elderly female human who's out for a walk, apparently. There's 2 men in cloaks. They appear to be the same kind of cloak. You can tell they had leather armor and long swords, but there were 2 of them. There were 3 other people in plain clothes. They looked like servants' attire, maybe they were going to their place of work, wherever they were working for some family. 2 are female humans. 1 is a male half elf. There's a male gnome with a burned cloak, and he's clutching a dagger. But it's in a death grip. He's been caught in the blast. And there were 2 female halflings, and it looked like they were playing instruments, and 2 male halflings. And you do recognize these. They used to play around the corner for money. The female halflings were musicians and played the flute and the fiddle, and then 2 male halflings were dancers. And there's a very distraught halfling looking at them. Apparently, one of the group, that you recognize, who's realized what just happened to his friends. But this is what you see at first glance. Is there anything you want to do? I mean, there are people starting to approach. You are definitely the closest, except for Fala from Coralon's Crown. They're walking out right now as
I'd
well.
like to go to the most severely injured first and work my way around and try to stabilize them with medicine checks.
Okay. They're definitely dead and beyond recovery.
Gotcha.
But probably the male gnome, the one with the dagger clutched in his hand, is the most severe of all of them. Appears to be at the very center of the blast.
And is that center of the circle? Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, does it look like a fire attack or lightning attack, or can we tell?
So you can all... Let's see if everyone wants to make a perception check.
Yeah, because I'm looking around for anybody leaving the scene of the crime kind of deal.
I was thinking of putting my crow up in the air to see if I see anybody running down far away from the streets. Or no street. Running up towards the blast.
Okay. And it looks like more people are coming to the blast. I mean, there were some people who were running. You could tell that they didn't know what was going on, but you don't see anything that looks out of the ordinary. Should try to find what Bert would do. So Vert would definitely try to identify what happened as a sorcerer, and is going to check. And can't figure it out at all.
Wow.
No, that's stupid.
He was too busy cleaning. He's like, this is such a mess.
Yeah.
The mess messed with him.
Can someone stop these dead bodies from bleeding?
He's like, oh, I don't see anything here. Looks like spontaneous combustion to me.
Yeah. So can I go over to, you said the gnome looked like he was the worst injured. Can I just kind of look him over? Does he look like he's from this place? Is there something unusual about him or his injuries?
Yes. So if you want to make a perception check. Okay. So yeah, you can't really tell anything other than he's wearing a cloak, boots, he's got his dagger, he's got a the coin purse. You don't notice anything else out of the ordinary of someone who would be there, but probably the cloak would give some kind of hint that it's morning, and it's not. Can
I see if I can lift the dagger out of his hands?
Yes, if you want to make a sleight of hand check. And actually, you can't pry it. It turns out the hand is burned pretty close to the dagger, but if there's anything else you want to search. But you do see the coin purse there.
Hello, guys.
And if you,
Okay, oh, go ahead.
oh yeah, nobody notices what you did, so you're good with that.
I'll investigate that later. I don't know a lot about magic, but would I have an idea of what would happen? Because I do have some spells abilities.
Yeah, anyone who wants to
Little
try
arcane.
to discern what happened, just make an Arcana check.
Oh no.
So everyone can do this as well. Everyone can actually search to see if they see anything as well.
Ooh.
And Melis is like, this is definitely a fireball. This was
Fireball.
by a fireball. So you do know it's magic, Melis.
Okay.
And if anyone wants to search the remaining bodies, just to, you can tell coming around, you can hear more heavily clad boots coming down. You definitely think the city watch is probably coming, so you can do a quick check before they get there if you want, with a perception check.
Perception.
Well, while I'm leaning over him, can I also try to lift his purse? Just to see if there's anything in that?
Yes, you can do another sleight of hand.
Heck yeah.
I know it's dirty to pick the dead, but you got to get information somehow.
True.
Okay. So yeah, you think you got it.
So as we're kind of checking the bodies, and as we hear the guards coming, as everybody else is kind of rushing in, Melis is going to kind of stand up and create a cordon to keep people away from this area, and just let everybody know the guard is coming. Everything is under control. They're going to take care of it. Law and order. Law.
I'd like
and
to go and talk to the surviving halfling,
Okay.
with the dancer
Yeah.
and the
Good.
players.
Okay.
Yeah, let me find that. And so he's definitely in tears. He's a young boy. You realize it's hard to tell with halflings, but he's definitely a young boy, not an adult.
No.
And he's upset that his friends died. And then this is what he says. So his name is Martin, Martem, and he ducked behind the rain barrel, but he heard something plop into it, and he's holding something out. It looks like a necklace, but the beads are kind of big.
Okay.
Oh.
Can I say to him, hey, this is no place for you to be right now. Our place is just around the corner. Let's take you in and get you some food and drink.
Okay.
Just that way you can kind of get away from this sadness right now.
And
Excellent.
yeah, he's like, no, I need to tell them what happened. I need to do that for my friends. I'm going to wait for the city watch.
So what are you going to tell them?
Oh, just what I told you.
Okay.
I found. I don't think I'm going to show them this though. This is valuable. This looks valuable, but I'm going to tell them what happened for sure. So he's kind of clutching the necklace.
Hey, can I make a trade with you with that necklace? I have 3 pieces of candy. They're delicious.
If I make a persuasion check.
Okay. Oh. Oops, where's persuasion? There it is.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So he's a little reluctant, but he's like, I'd rather have the candy than be caught with this. And he gives it to you.
Sweet.
Nice.
Good one.
Well done.
But you do see it's a necklace. It's got balls around it. They're big, large, very large. They're not really jewels. They're just ornamental. Um, but it definitely is missing two of the beads, and the clasp on the necklace is broken. So
I'm going to
Does it
give it
feel
to Sparrow.
magical? Oh, thank you.
Do we have anyone who can identify that?
let me see. I think she.
Or even detect?
Shanira, maybe?
I think she does. Let's check.
It'd be nice to know what that is, because I think we know what it is, but who
Yeah,
knows?
she doesn't have anything of the sort, although she can look at it and she does an arcana check. I recognize it. It's a necklace of fireballs.
Nice.
I don't know what that is.
So the beads on the necklace of fireballs, you pull one off and you throw it, and then the fireball goes off where the bead lands.
So anybody can use it?
Anybody can use it.
Give it.
Grenades.
It's definitely missing two beads.
I'm gonna give that back to Nico. I don't trust myself. I'm gonna drop them and blow myself up.
How many gems or baubles are left on there? Charges?
Let me see if I can tell.
The dwarf kind of likes that. He likes to blow stuff.
We can split this stuff up too, you know. Unless when you break it off, it's gonna blow up. I don't.
So there are 5 remaining.
5 remaining?
5 remaining.
And 2 were missing.
Can they be separated?
You could try, but it is
Oh.
really dangerous.
Why don't we have the rogue hang on to it for now? Because he's not a big clumsy dwarf. But in a time of peril, the dwarf may need to grab that from him. So just be prepared. But yeah, the rogue, the stealthy rogue can hold on to it for now.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So, before I leave, Martin, I'm just gonna let him know if you don't have anywhere else to go, we're starting a business. You're more than welcome to come serve food, drinks, earn a living. Just come back to us anytime.
That's so awesome.
That way
Yes.
he has options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
we
Wonder
waiting
if
for the guard, or are we skadooshing before then?
You probably can talk to a couple more people before they get there, but Fala is definitely one of them. So she definitely will provide some information. So this is what she says. She was watering her plants in the greenhouse on the 2nd floor when it happened, and luckily she wasn't injured. But Fala did see a person take something off the body of the dead gnome and then start limping away.
Limping.
And so he was heading in the direction of the bent nail, so down this direction. And
can I do investigation to look for, like, if he was injured or there's like signs of blood?
well, it's hard to tell because there's a lot of it, but in your perception check you made earlier, you were able to at least see that the 2 cloaked male humans that had the dark cloaks, you did find Zentarum tattoos on them. The and they do appear to be mercenary types. They had leather armor, long swords, and as you're looking at them, Fala will say they were dressed very much like those 2. That person that limped away. So you now know the description of what to look for, but you do suspect with that perception check that the 3 of them were probably together.
Okay.
Can we ask her, does things like this happen often in this district?
Never. This has never happened.
Okay.
And at that, there's another person who seems to be kind of walking quickly down towards you. Looked like they were trying to leave the area, but the city watch is definitely half a block away from her. But you see this very wealthy person come and sees what you're talking about. If you talk to them, they'll let you know. They saw someone on the roof, but it didn't look like a person. It looked more like a puppet. And it hurled something into the crowd, and that's when the explosion went off. And describes the burning halflings and how terrifying it was to see these happy people suddenly get caught up in everything.
That sucks.
But she'll tell you her name is Jazrin, and she loves to talk about it. She's like, yeah, I was just hiring Vincent Trench to spy on my philandering husband. I know he's doing something behind my back, so Vincent's going to find out for me.
Oh, we know that guy.
Yeah, from the Tiger's Eye investigative service. But as she's saying this, the City Watch does finally come in and let you know, Melissa, we'll take over from here. You don't need to usher people back. We'll take it from here. And there's about six of the City Watch coming from the other direction as well. And they're kind of keeping people from leaving, and they're keeping people from entering as they question everybody in the area.
Could we head towards the direction that the limping man went? Or is the City Watch absolutely
Yeah, they're like, no,
one
don't
by?
go anywhere yet.
Gotcha.
You can't leave yet. And at this, two, they look like officials. One introduces himself as Sergeant Cromley and is bringing what appears to be a magistrate, some kind of a judge. Actually, there is something I can show to everybody. So try to get a little more artwork from the system, but this is
Nice.
Reminds you of the very opposites. So it's safe, and Barnabas Blastwind is the magistrate. But they're here to investigate what happened, and they will interview each of you. There's about 20 of the City Watch now in the area, checking everything out, making sure that they all the evidence is gathered properly. Let's see, so anything any of you want to do while you're being detained in this area by the investigators?
So I think part of my background was I had at least looked into becoming part of the City Guard or City Watch. Is there any chance that I know this Cromley guy or any of the other folks that I can, try to get a sense of, is this an isolated event? Obviously, we heard from the locals that this never happens here, but I want to get a sense from the guard or the watch if they're seeing an uptick in this kind of violence, or if it's specifically anything related to the Zentarum.
Yeah,
good idea.
And if you ask any of the watch members, they'll point you to the two Barnabas and say there to talk to them. And if you do ask them, the first thing Barnabas would do is like that, please don't interfere. You're introducing too many variables into this. And Cromley says, just trust in the watch. We'll know what we're doing here. But they look like they're collecting evidence. They're not really kind of speculating on what happened. If you look at their gestures, they're trying to piece together what happened. And you would come to the conclusion that, the gnome was running from someone. based on what they're doing, because they're kind of role playing what might have happened in front of you. And so to the best of your knowledge, the gnome was running from 3 pursuers. You figure there were 3 Zents that were following him. And nobody knew the blast was going to happen. So that was not something that was part of that plan. But whatever they were pursuing that gnome for, you're pretty sure that the 3rd one has run off with it.
So, can I see any bloody footprints or anything on the edge of the perimeter heading towards the bent nail? Maybe a trail we could follow?
Um,
I could ask Bobo to go up and just have a look, fly over it.
Yeah, they
Let's
wouldn't
see if-
notice him.
Let's see if Bobo can. Oops, I was trying to ding it or whatever it's called.
Bobo and the ranger, hopefully
Ding
we
it.
get some kind of track.
Oh, but one other thing that you noticed, Malice, when you were checking on everything, the dead gnome looks like he's got dry waste along the bottom edge of his cloak and on his boots, like he had been in the sewers.
Oh.
Hmm.
It is something that kind of stood out. It's like, I remember, I had to clean my boots off too. That's what they looked like when I came in.
Yeah.
So you suspect he'd been in the sewers recently.
Those sewers. They keep calling me.
All kinds of things stink down there.
I like how dark it is.
So
Smelly and comfortable.
Yeah, if there's any way we can get out of there and look for any kind of trail where that guy might go, or if any of the other bystanders or anybody else knows where the Zentarum hang out, where we can try to go look for them. Question to ask, I guess.
Yeah, so that before you can get too far asking, I mean, you were only able to talk to 3 people. Everyone else is just kind of shocked. And Cromley, the tall one, keeps telling you, not to interfere. But at some point, they're like, I understand from speaking to everyone that you are the new proprietors of the tavern. And do you know this gnome? And he points down to the gnome on the ground.
No, never seen him. We have only been in the property for a couple of days. We're not open for business, so no, I've never seen him.
Yeah, so they'll talk to you a little more detail. That's where you get more information about, you're pretty sure that he was, the gnome was being tracked by those 3. It's becoming more and more clear that the gnome had something of interest to them. And there's one other thing. Let's see.
Who was he? Who was this gnome?
We don't know who he was yet, but we'll keep that information confidential because we don't want anyone to really. We don't want to tip off anyone who might be involved. And at this point, Shannara has a thought and kind of brings you over. We can always ask the gnome or his pursuers what happened.
Oh, she has to speak with dead?
I can't do it myself, but we just need to find someone with more experience who knows how to speak to the dead.
Oh.
If we go to one of the temples, we could probably hire someone to do that.
Let's see if we're doing that, we take one of the baddies, because they would know who the gnome was and who we're looking for.
And it might be easier to
Oh.
get one of those bodies than the gnome.
Right.
Although that's still not going to be easy to get a body out from underneath the watch. Unless we could go hire somebody and get them down there quick, but I imagine the guard is going to take the bodies to some kind of morgue or something.
Yeah.
Because it is a
Do-
law and order town.
So if you
Do we
do
need the whole body or just the head? Just out of curiosity.
Love that so much.
you probably just need the head, but I don't know if it can talk very well. So what will happen is this: speak with the dead. So Shannara knows how it works. That basically you can ask it 5 questions.
Yep.
And there are a few clerics that are being brought in by the City Watch, and they're casting a spell on each of the bodies as the City Watch is preparing them to move to a morgue. You do find out that the City Watch station has a morgue in the cellar for bodies that come up. And Shannara will know the clerics are basically casting gentle repose. So she'll describe this as it keeps the bodies from decomposing until they can identify what's going on, if they want to do any more research there. Okay.
All right.
Sounds like more night excitement.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the clerics are not doing speak with dead, like we can't overhear them asking questions, interrogating them, any of that stuff.
Yeah, so they're about ready to release everybody. You get the feeling. I mean, you've been there for quite a while. And at this point, let me check one more thing. So Verdon's been pretty quiet most of the time, but he says, if you're in Force Grey, couldn't you just ask if they can help with hiring a cleric? This is a security issue.
What?
That's
Say
true.
that again?
So you, 2 of you are members of Force Grey, right? So can't we see if they'll help us get access and bring a cleric in to find out what happened?
Yeah. That's a good idea. I think we should do that. I don't know why.
Sounds better than sneaking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to break into the City Watch morgue.
Might be more fun, but
Well, and I was wondering if any of the familiars, like, can you see and hear through them? Could we send one of those things in there and hear? Because I'm guessing that the City Watch at some point, somebody's going to start asking some questions about what happened, what did you see. I mean, maybe not. Maybe we're the only ones that thought about bringing magic and speak with dead. But but if we could let them do it and just overhear it somehow.
And so didn't Bobo go get sent out, right?
yeah, I sent Bobo down the street to see if there's anybody limping.
Okay. Maybe make a let's see, does Bobo have a perception?
It uses all my stats.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to make a perception check. So as the investigation's going on, Bobo's giving you updates, and you know that Bobo is going in an interesting path to where the wealthy live. And at some point, you see a very wealthy, in this wealthy residential neighborhood, there's this villa that Bubba loses that person around. Maybe there's trees or a wall that person has gone behind, but Bubba can't find them anymore after they go around this one area, around this villa. So you do know a general location of where to look. And it's not too far away.
Okay. Hey, Boba.
That's cool.
I'll explain that to the rest of the guys when we're in private. Like where they, because I don't want to just bust it open.
Right.
No, not in front of the guard for sure.
So if we're allowed to, oh, go ahead.
Is there any places to buy a newspaper around here?
It'll come out later today.
Okay.
They normally print it in the day. It comes out at night, unlike what we're used to, which is, printing overnight. But yeah, definitely later in the day, you can start looking for a copy of the paper. And so there's another, has anybody been in Waterdeep for longer than 6 months? I think Melis would have been in and out, right? So
Yeah, I think maybe 6 months max, probably less, and in and out probably with.
Okay.
Honestly,
can you make a history check?
absolutely. Not my strongest suit. Oh, good roll though. 16.
Nice.
Oh, nice. So when that one last person that you talked to before the City Watch arrived talked about the puppet on the
Yes.
roof, it reminded you of a festival in the fall, basically where they have these automatons kind of things that kind of march in this parade. And you do remember that it's sponsored by the Temple of Gond. So I'm going to put that in here. It's just another clue for you guys to.
Temple of Gone?
Yeah. Temple of Gond.
Oh, Gone, yeah, okay.
And so you will know that, if you wanted to find out more about what that creature was, you might be able to find out from the Temple of Gond.
Yep.
At least if you describe it, they might know something about it. At least this is what you're thinking, because it just reminds you so much of one of those automatons that you saw in the festival.
Okay, cool. And I'm assuming we know where the Temple of Gond is and how to track it.
Yes, it's not too far away.
Okay.
So should we go back to Troll Skull Manor and kind of decide where we want to go first?
Yep.
So you do have a lot of options.
Yep, we
Yeah.
do. So my inclination is to try to track the guy who left the scene and who Bobo was tracking and got to the villa. Like if we could jet up there and take a look around and see what's going on up there. Because he grabbed something, we think, maybe, from that gnome. The other thing would be to find out who that gnome is.
Did you notice anyone, Melis, in the crowd that was part of the gray? Was it Gray Hand or Gray Force or? can't
Gray hands and force grid is used interchangeably. but-
Okay, so Gray Hands.
Yeah, good question. Did I?
No, I don't think so. But you could probably just go to the Black Tower and talk to the black staff herself.
Yeah. Um,
And Shannara will say, we can always just also spend money at one of the temples and hire a cleric to do it, because the temples need money, and they'll cast spells and do things usually for the betterment of, if it's the right thing to do. They won't do anything criminal unless it's one of the darker gods that are being served. But that's another possibility.
yeah, my only challenge with that is how we're going to get down there into the morgue with the cleric to cast a spell and ask questions.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could scope it out and try to find a way in, but kind of sketchy.
Okay.
Well, I guess, are we assuming that Nico has informed us about what Bobo's seen now?
Yeah, by this time, yes,
Okay.
you will all have known.
So did you want to go do that first, Melis?
Yeah, I think that's what my inclination would be. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, that's kind of time sensitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see if we can.
Well, while we
catch it.
walk, can I look at that dagger?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't look like it's ornate or anything. It's just, for some reason, you do know that no one's going to just have their dagger out. So at some point, you could probably infer that he was about to get jumped by those three people at that moment when the fireball went off.
Well, I'll put the dagger like in my back back belt and just have a spare dagger for now.
Mhm.
But I'll say that to the guys is like he knew he was getting attacked. He just didn't have time.
So
Yeah.
Poor initiative on this guy.
so we think that the Threes and Tarum were chasing the gnome, and the halflings were just like collateral damage. They just got caught in the crossfire. Is that kind of the working assumption?
Well, it sounds like the people pursuing the gnome also got caught in the crossfire too. I don't know if they would be working together or not if you blew them up.
Well, that's true.
It's
Yeah,
a pretty
a lot of
big area.
people wanted this guy dead.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if they thought that was the guy who wrote the article in the newspaper?
I know.
We will never know. Well, maybe we will.
Maybe we will. Okay, so we're going to check out the villa, and we're going to do some perception checks, I suppose, to see if we can find
Tracking.
anybody or see anything.
Okay. So you get to this villa, and it's actually kind of late morning, so it's very busy. There's people going about their business, servants, walking out to run their errands, carriages going by with various nobles. But there is heavy traffic, but you can definitely walk around casually and look without being seen as a threat. You do notice that the walls are about 15 feet high. 12 feet high. And it's made of stone, so somebody might be able to climb up it. And if you make a perception check, I'll let you know if you can, if there's anything else you can tell.
Phew, somebody else should try it.
Yeah, and Sparrow, I think your Jason has probably kind of told you to look somewhere, and you definitely see what looks like a bit of a blood splotch at the very top of this one wall near a tree. Going into what's probably a courtyard on the other side, but you do see that there's a bit of a stain there. But there's a lot of traffic also going by. You know that you can't do anything without being noticed.
Yeah. Do you, can we see any passerbys that we could just briefly ask who lives in that manor?
Oh, those are the Growlins. Let me write it down.
And do we know anything about that family, their history, politics, or any of that crap?
Well, let me see if there's anybody.
Owned.
No.
Oh,
So you're pretty sure that Vert's not going to know. It would be a stroke of luck.
This might be something we come back to at nighttime, but maybe we go ask the Gray Hand. They should know who the Growlins are.
yeah, I don't know either.
You can
Yeah.
roll a history. I mean, you've been in town long enough. You can roll a history check, and Shannara actually knows well enough to say, yeah, they're a prominent family. They have some, she knows they have kids. She thinks the wife is probably the more dominant part of the family. However, it's the husband that has the position of prominence. And that was a good enough roll that I think she can say a little bit more. Let's see. Let me make sure I got it right first. So Orond is the husband. So
Oron.
Orond is the noble. I know the wife's Yala is the wife. And there is something interesting that Shannara remembers with this history check is Yala's very proficient with an edged weapon. She's known to be in different types of contests that the nobles have, where maybe it's like fencing or something. But if there's any type of challenge, she's fairly good with a bladed weapon. There's some she doesn't quite have a handle on it, but she's just known for being able to take care of herself and loves to flaunt it. She's known to go into social occasions with a very nice ornate breastplate and her rapier at her side to show off that she has this expertise. And even though she is a noble, she's got some abilities.
Cool.
And
And Yala.
and if you are asking around, you'll know that people will start kind of giving you an eye. someone from the city watch would probably say, is there any reason why you're interested in the houses here? You don't belong in this neighborhood. So you kind
Oh, well, we're just new to town and sightseeing, of course, sir.
of okay. But yeah, so just move along, okay? Keep moving. There's no need for you to hang around these houses.
Easy enough. Yep. Happy to move along. I have an application in with the watch. You guys owe me a call back anyway. I support you guys all the time. I believe in what you do.
And they kind of give you the look and like,
That's a crazy little dork.
But yeah, you definitely have the look of somebody who, you're wearing plate, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So they kind of know that you're like, okay, you want to be something. But they also know, with your stature, you're probably one not to mess with. So they just want you to move along.
Fair enough.
But what would be the next thing you want to do? So you could probably get in there after hours and not be noticed, but definitely in this high traffic, if you start doing anything, the law will be on you pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe we go back to Black Tower and see if we can learn anything more about that family and what else they might be involved with.
Yeah, we can give them the information we've discovered, and maybe
Yes.
they have some advice.
Yeah.
So the black staff will meet you and say, "Oh, I heard about that. Hey, yeah, let's do this." They'll give you a note and a sack of 25 gold and say there is a temple right next to the station. Just go to them, give them this note. They'll assign a cleric to help. They do work for us from time to time. And on my authority, here's another note. They'll let you do this. They'll let you bring a cleric in to commune with the dead.
So which temple is it that he's sending us to?
I wouldn't know the name of them.
It's not Grand, though.
No, it's not relevant, but it's it's something Shannara was probably familiar with. So yeah, this is an order that's very well known for, protecting people and doing good things in the community. So they're there to be trusted. There's not anything to be worried about with these with this temple. But if you want, you can take it right over and probably get access before the end of day.
Oh, heck yeah.
Let's do it.
And that again will get us a cleric and access that the guards watch won't hassle us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that the black staff has some pull.
Yeah. Sweet.
And the note you can, if you look at it, it's not. Well, actually, it'll be sealed. I mean, she'll definitely seal it so that they know it's her.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You're pretty sure that it'll give you access. And if you're there, I mean, we can. Are you going to go follow that route and provide the note to the city watch?
Yep. Yeah. Go get a cleric and go talk to the dead.
They'll kind of open it and like, all right, okay, fine, come on, She gets what she wants, and she lets you and the cleric down into the morgue. You can see the bodies are basically just arrayed on the floor. Haven't had time to do much else. They do have blankets over them, but you can definitely find the gnomes and the halflings are kind of off to one side. You could tell very quickly which one's the gnome.
Have they been searched?
It looks like they may have started the process of of preparing them. So you know that they're just going to leave a blanket on top of them. So they've probably been stripped completely and are just being prepared to be set aside on maybe a cot somewhere. But there is a back room that they don't need to even bring you into. They have not processed the bodies that far. But is it the gnome you want to talk to first?
Well, that's a good question.
I think
How many times can the cleric? How many of the dead people can we talk to? Ask the cleric like how many?
They'll based on the note. That's like I can talk to at least 3, the ones of interest.
Okay. So I think definitely the gnome, one of the baddies.
Yep.
Okay.
And then,
Is there any jewelry left on any of these? The 3 that are of interest, not anybody else.
Oh no, there's nothing. Everything's been removed.
and they're naked under blankets.
And you don't need to work. See, there were pretty good instructions, so I can basically tell you what the results of talking to the gnome are. Since the cleric's done this enough times and had instructions on what to do. But the first thing is, and it's very eerie when the gnome talks as it's asked questions, but the first is, what were you doing? In which case, the gnome responds that it stole an artifact called the Stone of Galar. Let me write that down.
Stone of all of them?
Of Galar.
Oh.
So Gollorr. From the lair of a beholder known as Xanathar in a dungeon.
Oh no, that was a stupid thing to do.
And who do you work for is the next one, and he responds that I worked for the Open Lord of Waterdeep, who used to be Rainer Neverember's father, but now is a woman named Laral Silverhand.
Politics.
Actually, I'll just type it. It's easier that way. I'm trying to copy and paste because everything's spelled so differently.
Yeah.
I wish my pen worked better.
I went to the grocery store the other day and bought 3 or 4 new pens specifically for D&D.
I forgot. Bought 25 of them.
Nice.
They're behind my paintbrushes.
So the next question is, why did you take the stone? And the answer is it's the key to finding a horde of dragons hidden in the city.
Yeah.
Oh.
And at first you might be shocked. There's a horde of dragons. At least Vert is shocked. There's a horde of dragons, and then it's like, no. Someone pulls out a gold coin, and it's inscribed with a dragon. They call the coinage dragons.
Okay.
But Vert with his intelligence score is definitely like, what? There's dragons underneath the city?
I was gonna say we need to move.
Hopefully Alexander's okay with my role playing his character. And then also says that when I recovered the stone, I heard of a group of adventurers had rescued Lord Neverember's son from the Zentarum and thought the stone would be safe in their hands. And the fireball went off just as my pursuers had caught up to me. And that's the last information that they're able to get from the gnome.
What? Can you repeat that last part again with the adventurers?
Basically, they were going to your tavern he was going to your tavern to let you hold on to the stone and keep it safe.
Oh,
What you had done for Raynar, you figured that you would be trustworthy enough until, just to avoid the pursuers. He was by himself being pursued by three Zentarim.
well. So he was coming to see us.
Yep.
Dang it.
And so are you also doing this with the pursuers?
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So the net result is their names are Bashik and Wern. You don't need to write that down. They're dead.
No.
But they will say the name of their friend is Urstel Floxen.
Still,
D&D with the interesting names. So Urstel Floxen, and they worked for Urstel and resided at Growlhund Villa.
Yup.
That's where you had tracked them to.
Yep.
Their job was to track and catch a gnome named Dalakar, and that's the one you spoke to first. So the gnome is named Dalakar.
Yep.
And Dalakar had some kind of artifact in his possession, which, according to Urstel, would make them rich as kings.
Yep.
And that is all that these two know. Is they were thinking of the riches for themselves.
And was it specifically this Urstal Clarkson who hired them? Is that the deal? Or were they working for somebody else?
Yeah, they worked for Urstel. So basically, he was the leader of this group of sellswords.
Okay.
From what you know with the Zens, they're not. They sometimes work on their own, but sometimes they'll work for the greater organization if they're called in. But for the most part, you believe these three were, at least from what you could tell, were working together.
Right.
Can we ask them? I don't know if we have a question left or not. Can we ask them if they seen like anything movement, rooftops, or where the fireball came from?
It came from the roof, and let's see. I think you would still be able to do the persuasion check. If you want to make a persuasion check,
okay.
just to see if they'll give you any more information. No.
Nope. That's a good roll.
Yeah, that's a good roll. Oh, my timers are going off.
And you can ask one more question.
Go ahead, Ed.
Oh boy. Where is your home base?
And they name Growland Villa again.
Nuts.
For sure. Yeah. Well, at
Sorry,
least we know
guys.
for sure they're involved. No, that's good.
Okay, so you got your information. The cleric will take leave and move on. At this point, our two investigators have probably seen you there. It's like, what are you doing? I told you not to interfere. And said, I think you've gotten what you want. You can go.
So do we go back to the gray hand to give them the information we just learned, I guess?
Yep. We sure could update them. um, and, and see if they know anything about um, the thing that he went to steal, the Stone of Golar.
Yep.
See if they know anything about that.
Okay.
And like it's an interesting thought. Nothing has come across to me about what that would be for. There might be someone else who knows, but it's something I'm not familiar with yet. But I can look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, please do, and we will continue to look into it as well. Okay, what else?
Is it nighttime now, or is it still day?
It's probably mid-afternoon by now.
Okay. Should we go and check out the Temple of Grond?
Yeah. Yeah, see what they know about any of this, any and all of it, especially the puppet. Right, that's what we want from them.
Yeah.
So it's called the House of Inspired Hands. This is the workshop. And when you get there, you see a silhouette, a shape that reminds you very much of the story you heard. Something threw it, something at you, and this tiny metal sparrow loops in the air and comes right at you.
Like attacking or just coming to say hi or what?
It looks like some
Little
sort of
metal.
mechanical bird coming right at your group. You don't know what it's going to do.
Okay. Well,
Can I try to catch it?
So if you can roll an initiative, just you. I just want to see what the number is.
Okay.
Okay, so you can do something, but roll. What is your dexterity score? You want to make a dexterity check, I guess.
Yeah, I can do dex. Acrobatics, I guess. Oh, dexterity up here. I see.
And interestingly, you do catch it. So basically, I kind of took this as just a dex roll to attack, and you beat its score. But it's just it's like a toy. It would definitely have hurt because it's metal if it hit anyone. But
Era, what did you get?
A sparrow.
No, what'd you get?
Oh,
Sorry, I had to do. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I had to do that. Okay, never
I
mind.
get it.
Keep going.
that's funny because it does say
It is a sparrow.
So you have yourself a metal sparrow. But either way, so whatever was making it fly, it doesn't work anymore. It's just kind of but it does retain its shape. But that creature, the thing that looked like a puppet, but a life-size puppet, went back into an attic area inside the temple.
Can I hand it to Shanira and see if she feels magic, like residual magic on it, or even Vert? I guess Vert would probably be the better one for that.
Yeah, let me check what Bert has. Because I know Shannara does not have detect magic, from what I could tell.
Maybe he can tell if that's how it was flying, or...
yeah, good call.
Yeah, and Vert does a detect magic, and it's like it's fading. Whatever magic was there is fading.
So like it was a temporary spell or something.
Yeah, so Vert can do the detect magic and feels that there's a lot of magic in this temple area with the automatons. So you're still outside the temple. What do you want to do?
Do we still
Well,
have some of the gold that was given to us, like the sack of gold, or was that all used up on the cleric?
So yeah, that was just enough to hire the cleric. So
Okay.
they just gave you enough. You do still have your personal gold, and what else? And Nico, have you looked at that coin purse you pulled from the gnome yet?
Oh no. I have something weird happening. Every time I roll to see what my roll is, my dice makes noise and I can't hear what you say after.
Oh, okay. So you
And
didn't have
so
it. Yeah.
I didn't know if I actually got it or not. I just went with it.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, okay.
Nobody noticed you, so nobody turned you in for taking it.
I guess I'll look into the coin purse.
So it does have 5 gemstones, and you being the rogue that you are, no, they're probably about 100 gold pieces each in value.
Wow.
Whoa.
nice.
Okay, well, I'm going to still tuck that away and say, wow.
Do you tell us about that or no?
Oh, I tell my sister everything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
I was like, holy crap. We got some
I was-
eggs in this basket.
Right. I wonder if we should act like we're going to give a donation. Like, I have 8 gold pieces still since we just made a lot of money with Nico's quick hand. Maybe if we each give a gold piece
Yep.
to the temple and ask for a prayer. I don't really know how that works.
Yeah, I've got a gold to contribute for that. Absolutely.
Okay.
Sure.
So at least get us in the front door without being suspicious at first.
Yep.
And you can definitely walk in. It looks like it's an open area. It's not really locked. Like anyone can walk in, and then maybe someone will come out to greet them.
Okay.
And there's a sign over the door. It says the Hall of Exemplary Inventions. And in this hall, there are marble pedestals, and there are about 24, and each one of them has an award-winning invention. So some of those include a wooden flying machine that has wings that flap. There's a model of a clock tower that's actually working. There's a miniature of a mechanical dragon turtle. So a dragon turtle is the size of a dragon, but it's a turtle, and it's has a brass plate on it that says "Big Belchy sank in Deepwater Harbor on the Day of Wonders in 1363 BR." So this is something that had sunk in the harbor.
Cool.
There's kind of a crazy looking helmet that has all these little arms on it. And one of you remembers, oh yeah, this is a waking helmet. If you fall asleep, one of the hands will slap you in the face. And then there's a little miniature red boat that looks like a manta. And you kind of wonder how it works. It doesn't look very familiar, but it's a boat, but it looks like a manta ray. And it says on there, the Scarlet Marpanoth Lantanese submersible launched in 1489 BR. The characters don't know what it is, but a submersible you pretty much know is a submarine.
Yep.
And as you walk in, you're greeted by a dragonborn priest. It looks like a bronze dragon ancestry. They introduce themselves as Letta. Welcomes you to the temple and definitely accepts your donation if you're offering. But what do you want to say to Valletta?
I'm gonna bow in reverence and say that we will be creating new inventions at our place of business soon, and we just wanted a prayer at the altar of God to to help us in our future endeavors.
Okay.
So
Nice.
is it like a temple, like an altar, or is it basically just statues and creations, or is that just the hallway?
This looks like it's for magical creations. So it's it almost looks more like a monastery rather than where people are thinking about things, trying to craft things, than
Gotcha.
actually worshiping God. Um,
So
and
I'll say then, we were thinking to cut costs, maybe trying to forge some kind of human puppet that could serve people.
oh,
Smart.
you mean a nimble right?
So smart.
Valletta does talk about use the word nimble right. At this point, Melis was like, "Oh yeah, that's what they call them in the parade." So you do remember that they're called nimble rights, Melis.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
how
yeah,
does
yeah.
a nimble right work? Is it magical only? Does the magic fade and it basically can be stowed away?
There, there is a. They're not really detectable through magic, but why would you be thinking about nimble rights? It seems very unusual.
It's just a cheaper form of servitude than having to hire and pay barmaids and bartenders. If I could have a animated puppet wandering around and never have to feed or worry about any kind of upkeep, well, seems easier.
Yeah, we do have them, but they're usually created by wizards, and you don't really look like a wizard to me. You look
No,
more.
but we do got one of those. I point to Vert.
And he loves little computery things.
Yeah, he's probably dusting, the display where maybe there's a little dust buildup from the night before.
For sure he is.
Um, but is there anything else that you do or say? I mean, they're like, okay, you're free to come back, and we can give you some instruction on what we know how to do. But it does take a lot of time, and you don't always get what you want. They have their own free will. They tend to do things on their own, so it's not going to be a servant of any kind that would do exactly as bid, but they do what they want to do.
Can I ask him if he has one that we might could see up close and just tell him how brilliant Vert is and how quick he learns? And I feel like if he could just see one of these a little closer, he may be able to figure it out on his own and we wouldn't even have to bother them again.
So so the parade that you remember, Melis, had all different types of automatons, and specifically there might have been one that looked like a person, but Valletta says, yeah, we do have a nimble right that does appear humanoid, living in our attic, and I can introduce you, but he doesn't talk. Um, and he'll take you up there, um, and then tries to open the door, but it's locked from the other side.
How does it work with nimble rights? Like, do we respect them? Are they categorized as people, or do you hold them more into they are useful?
They are more useful. They don't really. You wouldn't say they have the rights of a um, member of the other races, since they're constructed. Um, um, they are able to do certain activities and think for themselves. Um, but basically, this one has locked itself in its room.
Would you like me to open the door for you to talk to him? Or to see if it's all right if we come in? I also have another question before I open the door.
Mhm.
Can poltergeists ever like enhance or like find themselves in these and have them control? Like, can a poltergeist control one of these?
And Valletta says, no, this is different.
I know this. Well, it's kind of a bizarre question, but I was just wondering if this could house a home for a body for a poltergeist to be able to do physical things.
Yeah, that's something that's beyond me. It's a different type of. We're about inventing things, inventing mechanical things, not so much the spiritual.
Mhm. I was just wondering if there's any way we could work it together somehow.
Yeah.
But would you like me to open this door for you? Because I happen to have skills of opening locks. My father used to build locks in the city, and so we would unlock places when people lose their keys all the time.
Yes, please. In fact, I don't recognize this lock. This door didn't have a lock before.
Oh, how unusual. Okay, well, shall I?
Yep.
Okay.
It's probably less destructive if you do it than I do it.
And can I use the mage hand first just to see if I can unlock it from the other side?
Yeah, I'll let you do it with advantage, so you'll basically have two opportunities.
Okay, cool.
So
So much noise
I
when I
only
roll
need
the
one.
dice.
the mage hand goes through, and your first attempt opens the door, and that nimble right looks very, kind of like a puppet, metallic, and kind of cowers in a corner and does something with its hands, like motions. And Belinda says, "Did Nim throw something at you?"
And hold up the little bird. So he
Oh,
was
so shameful. I'm so sorry. I did not know that Nim had attacked you like that. And so Nim is hiding up there. And is talking to Valletta, trying to figure out what happened. Interestingly, what you find out, and Valletta is very surprised, that Nim was very lonely and built another nimble right.
oh,
But that nimble right was very confused and left a month ago. And Nim hasn't seen it since. And Nim's very, very afraid that people will come after him because it may do something that it doesn't want it to do.
so he doesn't have control of his creation. They're completely independent.
Yeah, they have independent
Gotcha.
thought and action.
And was that a humanoid type construct?
Very, very similar to Nim. Okay. Valletta will act as a translator between you and Nim, but they're talking and cleaning, and Bert had the tech magic, was like, there's something over here, and reaches around and finds this kind of like a strange tool with little gadgets hanging off of it, but it looks about the size of a large hammer, like a tool hammer, not a war hammer, and has all these different gadgets and little things on it. And when he picks it up, Valletta says, Nim says that's a nimble right detector.
Oh.
You're welcome to have it, because we need to make sure we don't have any need for that.
Yeah, we definitely use that.
And so
Can we give it to Vert?
And Nim will come up and kind of make gestures. Valletta will say, okay, yeah, you have to push this button. It looks like a trigger. Push this button and it will start whirring and clicking and spinning. And there's a little thing that looks like an umbrella on top, and that will point to a nimble right if there's one within 500 feet of it.
That'll be handy.
Awesome.
and that it will increase its velocity the closer you get, so you can't kind of tell how far away it is. And if you try it out, it'll just go spinning and point directly at me.
Okay.
And Valetta's concerned that this nimble right that was created is not in correct working order. If you can find it and destroy it, we'll pay you 500 gold. We need to
Sold.
we need to secure this nimble right, because if it did, and if you described the fireball, that there's something wrong here.
So can I ask her, is there an easy way to deactivate a nimble right, or is it basically you just chop it up, or?
So smart.
Yeah, I think if you just damage it enough, it'll stop working. You would have to basically attack it. There's
Does
nothing.
sand to mess it up?
There's nothing like an on-off switch on the nimble rights. It's like once they're in motion, they're in motion. But having a nimble right create a nimble right, it doesn't have a lot of the knowledge that living creatures have, and does not have enough of the care to protect others from harm that a nimble right created by a living creature would. So that's my fear, is that this nimble right is going to do more harm, and we'll pay you to take it.
Can I ask,
To remove
how
it.
much does a nimble right run? Like if we would buy one for our bar, is it are they tremendously expensive?
They're usually very unique items. They would be expensive. So the ones in the parade are crafted by the different people in the temple here, and they take large amounts of effort, a lot of donated parts. So they would be very expensive, and I don't know how I would value it. But for us, I mean, it's something we need to. It's something shameful we need to take out of the population. We need to. You can bring it back and we'll take care of it. But if you can destroy it, that would help.
So do they need to seek shelter from the rain, or like habitat, or I mean, since they're constructs, can they just be anywhere at any time?
Yeah, there might be something like acid that would damage it, or fire, for example. But there's nothing that would
It would need to take shelter for.
shelter
Okay.
for.
Are they generally made of wood or metal, or?
This one's mostly metal. I mean, there might be some leather patches as well around joints. It's something you've never really seen before. Melis has from a distance at the parade, but it's not something you really understand how it works.
Gotcha. Well, fun.
Well, we'll thank Valletta, and I guess we'll make our way out to the streets, unless y'all got anything else you want to ask.
So we'll call the session now. Then, I mean, if there's any last questions anyone has, and we can, if you're going out to the villa or doing anything else, we can do that at the next session. And so far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a complicated little storyline. There's a lot of little threads and a lot of little meanings, a lot of things to potentially follow up on. It's a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah. And if so basically, yeah, you found out a lot about the stone through speaking with the dead. I think I know you've been trying to go back into the sewers, but the fact that you could tell that the gnome had been in the sewer and had the stone, you probably would have. It's possible you could have found it while you were down there at first, but it was probably gone shortly after you left.
Yeah.
Or maybe during your encounter, maybe it had disappeared, but at some point it was down there. And the Zents and the Xanathar are still warring, and that stone did belong to Xanathar at one point. You don't know much more about it yet, but there is something about the horde of dragons, as they were calling them, that it might be able to help locate.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wish we knew where to go find it.
I'm gonna keeping an eye open for another bag of candy because I'm half out, and newspaper.
Oh yeah, we need the newspaper tomorrow.
So
Yep.
if you find the newspaper and you read it, the article is there. There have been some editorial, changes to it, but it does have the gist of, the devil worshippers among the nobles. Who's really, a proper noble and who has gotten their position through their illegal activities, with evil creatures. So, but if you buy the paper, Nico, at some point, JB will kind of come up and say, "Hey, thank you very much for doing me that favor yesterday."
My pleasure, my friend.
And he continues on and gives you kind of a friendly pat on the shoulder.
Like Melis is going to read the story and have a little bit more disdain for all the rich nobles in the city because he doesn't know what's true and what's not, who might be devil worshippers. He's not down with that stuff. So you rich noble people, I got less time for you today than I did yesterday.
All right, cool. Any last things before we call it a night?
I don't think.
At the beginning of next session, we'll that you guys figure out what you want to do next. It will be evening of this day, and hopefully we'll have one of our other players back, but it may be out for a little while. And thank you everyone for watching. For all of the replay visitors, thank you. And
Thanks everyone.
Yep, thanks.
Really appreciate it. Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.